Toru Okane is here from Interfaith Hospital. She is a psychiatrist, and Interfaith Hospital is here. I'm just going to get a few remarks from her after we begin, because what we believe is that gun violence is now and has always been a public health issue. So while we take it the burden of violence,
how you been doing, sir? All right.
Synonymous with our community, which is not. This country's love affair with violence dates back for decades.
All right, how you doing, my brother?
In its music, in its films, in its art form. So violence, gun violence being just a small portion of it, because really, if NYPD wanted to report it, domestic violence is up tremendously. And people are every day secretly and silently suffering from domestic violence. The sensationalism around gun violence, and we're on hollow ground because this is the site nearly a week ago where a 1-year-old child lost his life. And that's very sensational, and it gets all of our attention. But while that's happening, simultaneously, domestic violence is destroying the lives and homes of people that you wouldn't imagine, because we don't always see it. I also want to acknowledge the presence of SOS Bed-Stuy. And if you don't know who SOS Bed-Stuy is, they are the violence interrupters who are on the ground every single day and who are responsible for stepping down the potential for retaliatory violence that comes out of every single shooting. Every single shooting isn't just a shooting. There's the potential for all kinds of violence that can spring out of that without the assistance of the violence interrupters, incredible messengers from SOS Bed-Stuy. Bridge Street Development Corporation.
You know it.
The attorney's office is tabling here. The Taj Gibson Foundation, which stepped up and is responsible for financing the entire cost of their young ones. And Children of Promise. Children of Promise is a nonprofit organization that caters to the children of people who are incarcerated, and who operates an after-school program and summer camps, so that those families and those children don't feel estranged from their community while they're estranged from their parent or parents who are incarcerated. So my remarks before we hear from the doctor are this: thanks to Chief Madry and Chief Harrison, both Chief Harrisons, for participating to hold this town hall. And by the way, this came out of the new chief, his office, and a partnership between his office. So we should give him, Chief Madry, a round of applause. The reason it's important to acknowledge that is because a lot of times, the only thing we concentrate on with the NYPD is the act of policing. This is a proactive movement to make sure that while we partner with the police, we have sustainable communities that work with the police. So I definitely want to give a special shout out to Chief Madry for always doing that in Brooklyn, and now we get to watch him do it a little selfishly. We get to watch him do it for the entire city. So peace on streets means families being able to enjoy the park, children able to play on the playground. Peace on our streets means a summer of ice cream trucks, double dutch, and basketball. We're gathering here today because we want peace on our streets. The alternative is the anguish we saw last week, a week that left 3 shot dead and at least 9 wounded. Families in unimaginable anguish and people recovering from injuries in hospitals. That's the agony of senseless gun violence. That's the agony of a family having to say goodbye to a 1-year-old child. That alternative to peace on our streets is really no alternative at all. We need to build towards more and more peace on our streets, more peace of mind for everyone in our community. That's why we're here today. Getting to that peace of mind is going to take the contributions of all of us here. We need to work together, explain what steps are taken now, and hear from you about what steps we should be taking. Important ideas and initiatives so far including going all out for our youth development opportunities. That's sports, computer programming, arts and music, programs run by community organizations. Creating more opportunities for education and mentoring, jobs and service. It's up to us to use the work together to make the ideas we discuss here a reality. Peace on our streets will take us all listening together, working together, and building our community together. So thank you all for being here and participating in this conversation. Oh, out of the corner of my right eye, I spy Bill, who's in the building, who is and has served as the glue to many of us in this community and getting things accomplished. Thank you, D. Now I'd like to hear briefly from Dr. Tolu about some of the initiatives around mental health that are going to be necessary and some of the conversation around the fact that violence is now and has always been a public health issue. Dr. Tolu from Interfaith Hospital.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for inviting me for this presentation. And I'm very happy with what you said, that from the mental health point of view, we do see violence as a public health issue. In our world, when we think about why violence is happening, we think about individual things that are going on, we think about things that are happening in the family, and we also talk about things that are happening in the community level. From an individual level, sometimes individuals may have untreated mental health issues, behavioral problems that's not being addressed, often starting from elementary school, middle school, high school, history of just not wanting to go to school, fighting, bullying, and those things are not picked up at the school level, and it continues well into adulthood. Sometimes people then develop, getting into the wrong gangs, the wrong peer groups because of loneliness, because teenagers want a sense of belonging. Identity is a big part of what it means to be a teenager. And if you have people putting pressure on you to join a particular association,
that's my brother.
you don't have the right to be giving you guidance and in your community.
Sanitizing. That's my brother.
Also, sometimes people start getting into drugs.
He prayed for me a lot of times.
Drugs can increase the risk of violence for some people, and then also for some people just having low frustration tolerance. And these are things that oftentimes we miss. We'll just say, the person just has an attitude, they can't control their temper. But for some people, it's actually a biological issue that's happening at the brain level, that they having difficulty controlling their impulses. And then we talk about things that's happening in the family. A lot of people are overworked, parents are not in the house, there's lack of supervision. If there's no one there to give you the right guidance because parents are working, everybody's working so hard, it's also easy to start watching the wrong things on television, or what's behind those doors, playing the video games,
I'm trying to hit a lady. She can't. I ain't hit a woman.
not being at home.
What you doing? Where you at?
He all right. He all right.
Yeah.
You know, this is Butch Company. We do stop the riot. Yeah.
Yeah, I get my shirt on.
And then also importantly,
I see you got the Black Lives Matter shirt.
Yeah, I got a bald head on you. Goddamn, boy, go ahead and cut it off.
Yeah. I'll be 62 next month.
I
know.
We all the same age, remember?
Yeah.
We all the same age.
How you been going? You know?
We all the same. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm my leg hurt.
Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, OJ.
Who's that? Somebody
From Atlanta.
Oh, you're in Atlanta now?
Yeah, watching us right now.
We're
being recorded.
Breaking those bonds.
All right, good.
The bigger public health issue is happening now is the pandemic. In our world, we're breaking down a lot of mental health issues, depression, anxiety. In families now, there's a lot more. If families are not getting along, there's actually more conflict in the house. Couples are fighting, kids are fighting, siblings are fighting because everybody's grouped together. So people sometimes are just getting involved in the wrong things, and you're struggling to control your impulses, and you're now in the pressure cooker of this pandemic. These kind of things that's happening. We know that there's a lot of unemployment. It's hard for kids to get jobs. There's no jobs. So in the summer, at least you could maybe work some ice cream shop, or be able to play out with your friends. A lot of that is being taken from us, and they're having to counsel even adults on how do you cope with this pandemic going on. So I the issue of what's been happening with BLM, a lot of feelings of anger and rage about the stuff that we go through as people of color in this country. So we have a pressure of many issues. And obviously, these are major health issues that we can't just solve in one day. But I will say is, on our end, in the world of mental health, the world of psychiatry, I'm from Interfaith Medical Center. I'm representing our CEO, Lorraine Brown. We are right on 1545 Atlantic Avenue. We have an extensive mental health services. We have 3 inpatient units. We have 2 outpatient clinics. We have a detox program, a rehab program. We are open to patients. If you identify anyone you know that you think is going through a hard time right now and needs extra support, our doors are open to help to give these kind of interventions. And I'm very excited about what the councilman said in terms of increasing more community engagement and more activities for the youth and things like that for more prevention. So I have my residents here. Dr. Kupola, Dr. Lalu, can you raise your fingers, your hands? They're passing out ours to talk about our hospital. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Before you move on, I just want to acknowledge our newly elect Assemblywoman Stephanie Zinnerman is here with us. If you could just stand up and... So Stephanie got a young lady. We're going to work Stephanie. She looks excited. Stephanie is not new to this community, obviously. She's done a tremendous work. As my former chief the Assemblywoman-elect, we look forward to working together on issues around violence and other issues that's in our community, which you're well aware of. So thank you for actually being here. And I want to acknowledge a good friend of mine from Crown Heights. We got Rabbi Cohen in the house. Oftentimes it's asked, because we as a community of color often go stand with the Jewish community when they have issues. We just want to acknowledge that they're standing with us while we have our issues around gun violence. So thank you, Rabbi Cohen, for coming all the way across St. John's to be with us today. I appreciate your presence.
Thank you once again, we're going to turn it over now to Chief Deborah Madry, Chief of Community Affairs. We just asked if anyone has questions, just hold off to the end, and we're going to have a whole Q&A session for everybody right over there on your right-hand side. We're also going to be having questions online on our Twitter page, so we'll take questions.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Last night, I'm getting ready to have the speaker message. Salute. Just, I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I want to thank all the young people who came out and played and had a good time. I want to thank all the police officers, the members of the service who were out there jumping double dutch. They need a little practice. So I'm glad playing basketball. My new role in community affairs, we're talking about police and community working together, positive engagements, positive interactions. To me, this is just a great day and a great start. And this is just one of many, because we're going to take the show on the road. Harlem, Bronx, Staten Island, Queens, Brownsville, other parts of Brooklyn, because we see the rise in gun violence, all right? And I'm glad my partner, my fellow high school alumnus, I'm glad that he brought the doctors out here, because we really are dealing with a public health crisis. And I'm glad that the doctors were around passing out information, being a resource to our community, because that's what we need right now from everyone. Everybody has to step up and step into their role of being a resource to the community. Don't fix my life. And we cannot continue to go on and see this uptick in gun violence, because our streets have to be safe. They have to be livable. A young man, a gentleman came up to me a little while ago and I never met him before. He lives the next block over, and he came up here and he had his daughter on the scooter, and he just talked to me about the violence. He just thanked me for this day. He was very appreciative. And I told him, I said, this isn't about me and you. This is about your daughter having the ability to ride her scooter 2 or 3 houses each direction from the front door, and without you being worried and without you being concerned. So that's what it's all about. We make sure we create our communities, build and dialogue, and have these tough conversations around gun violence. So all these young people who you see in the park, if you just look all around and all the corners, look at all the young people out here playing. And I also had another young man say, and I believe he said it to the press, I'm glad the police are here. But sometimes we can't even go into the park because it's not safe. You can come in here today and play. This is the kind of environment we have to work together to create for our young people. So in my role as the Chief of Community Affairs, this is what I pledge to you. To work with you, partner with you, to bring out our resources, to be a positive impact, and bring value to our neighborhoods and to our young people, to all families. And that's my pledge to you. Again, I'm really excited and I'm really pleased. My 2 colleagues are here to provide information and resources to this community. And then my brother and my sister, both from Chief Harrison. No, we're all brothers and sisters, but we're not related. But I'm Chief of Detectives Chief Harrison and Chief of Patrol Remote Chief Harrison. They're also here to support our community here and to bring value information. Just real quick, a couple of acknowledgments. I got clergy is here. Reverend Zaquan, Reverend Jones, Pastor Smalls. My new friends, but a dear friend already, out of Harlem. We came all the way down to support Brooklyn. Rice, Bishop Boyer, and my spiritual dad, Bishop Phillips, is sitting somewhere in the back. I appreciate all of you. And again, this is not only about creating positive environments for cops and community together, but this is also a call to action. All right, this is a call to action. All resources, all city resources, all community-based organizations, nonprofits, the clergy, all city agencies. This is a call to action. We have to partner up our elected officials, all right, our council member, Robert Carnegie, and his partners in government, our district attorney. It is a call to action for everyone. Everyone. If you don't want to see what happened out here a week ago ever happen again, then you have to be a part of this action. You have to stand up and be vocal and make noise and fight for your community. All right? The police is here to fight with you, but we need our communities to stand right next to us, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, praying together and being very loud and speaking out against this gun violence. We don't want it here anymore. We do not anymore. So I'm going to turn it over. I want to hear the good part of this whole presentation from the 2 chiefs here. But the last person I want to acknowledge, my queen, Ellen Patrick. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, I love you all. God bless you all. Let's fight together to stop these shootings in our community. Stand up, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, you stand up for so much. So stand up now against gun violence. Stand up now against gun violence. We don't want to see it in our communities anymore. We cannot afford to lose more young lives. Our future is being taken away from us when a 1-year-old is taken in these streets. So stand up, Brooklyn. Stand up for what's yours. You deserve quality of life. You deserve respect from the police department. And you deserve not to live in a city, in a community where you can't walk out into your streets and not feel a bullet is going to take you out. You know what? I'm no reverend. I got plenty of reverends here. But I'm angry. I am angry about losing young people in the street. I am angry. They do not deserve this. And we have to step up to protect them.
That's right. Mic check. So thank you so much, Chief Madry, Chief of Community Affairs, and your dedication to the community and ongoing ever since the phenomenon. So right now we're going to turn it over to Chief Rodney Harrison, Chief Detective.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I want to thank the councilman for coming out and
I like my
really
brother.
understanding that has to be
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah, you can't talk too much on the mic.
working relationship with our elected officials and the NYPD to make sure we continue to keep this city safe. I also want to congratulate and thank my mentor. You know, I worked with Jeff in Brooklyn North. I was his executive officer, then I was his partner as the chief of detectives in Brooklyn. And let me tell you something, you cannot ask for a better human being to be in charge of the relationship building that we're going to be going through in the years to come. When you saw his passion when he was talking, he is without question right man for the job. And Jeff, I want to congratulate you. God bless you. You and your family. Continue the great work. And thank you for what you've done for me in my career as well. I'm going to make sure that's very important. I also want to congratulate Judy Harrison for now being the new CEO of Brooklyn North. Judy, you have big shoes to fill. You did a phenomenal job in special victims. But I will have to say this. If anybody could fill this man's shoes, you're the person. I'm just so proud of you, and you're going to do humongous things. So, I'm not a big fan of talking about numbers. And I think a lot of times executives in this department are trying to talk about numbers this year versus last year. But I'd be remiss if I didn't share some of the numbers that we're going through right now. If you just take a look for year to date, shooting incidents, we're up 705 versus 431. That is an increase of 63%. Since COVID started, which we kind of consider COVID starting around March 12th, we've seen an increase in shootings from 571 versus 304. That is an increase of 87%. The biggest problem that I see is out of those victims, 97% of them are people of color. 97%. And out of that number, 255 are under the age of 21. That means our youth are mainly being affected by these incidents. So, listen, we could sit here and make all type of excuses what's going on throughout the city. We could sit here and say it's bill reform. We could sit